I type 100. It becomes 160.9. Nothing clicked. Miles to kilometers, live, no submit button, no page reload, and by the end of this video, you'll have built this exact thing yourself. Honestly, I'd rather see a unit converter on a resume than a to-do app. A to-do list hides the interesting part behind add and remove from a list. A converter forces you to read an input, transform it with real logic, and write the result back out, which is most of what front-end work actually is. It's small, but it's not a toy. Before I write anything, I'll lay out the 3 jobs this file has to do. HTML holds the structure, the inputs and selects. CSS makes it look like a page instead of a debug dump. And JavaScript is the only part that actually thinks. It reads what you typed and writes back a number. The markup is deliberately boring. A category drop-down, a text input, 2 unit selects, and a paragraph for the result. I'll leave the unit selects empty on purpose. I'll fill them in from JavaScript once I know which category is picked instead of hard coding 3 separate lists. Right now it's just default browser form styling, stacked top to bottom, functional ugly. A dozen lines of CSS turn it into a centered card with padding and a clear visual hierarchy. So the result line reads as the answer, not just more text on the page. Think about currency exchange for a second. No bank keeps a direct rate for every possible pair of currencies. They convert through one shared unit first. I'm doing the same trick here. Instead of writing a formula for every possible pair of units, I convert everything through one base unit, meters for length, grams for weight, multiply by the factor to reach the base, divide by the target factor to get back out. Try the base unit shortcut here and it breaks. Convert 50 degrees Fahrenheit straight to Kelvin with one made up multiplier and you get something like 32 K. The real answer is about 280 K, way off. That's the mistake I actually made once. Temperature has no shared factor between Celsius, Fahrenheit and Kelvin, so, like a flight with a layover, everything has to land in Celsius in the middle before it can take off to whatever unit you ask for. This is the whole thing combined, structure, style and the conversion logic, plus the guard clause that keeps empty or non-numeric input from crashing anything. This is the file you'd actually save and open in a browser. The whole live feeling comes from one line, an input event listener on the text field instead of a submit handler on a form. Every keystroke reruns the same convert function and rewrites the result line. Type and it just updates. Clean. A naive version happily prints nan the second you clear the box or type a letter, which looks broken even though the logic is fine. The fix is one guard clause. If the trimmed value is empty or is nan, show a placeholder and bail out before doing any math. Text inputs are never as numeric as they look, temperature included. Nobody agrees on Fahrenheit anyway. So that's a unit converter in one file, markup for structure, a little CSS for polish, and a base unit trick that turns 3 categories of units into a handful of small functions. If you want to extend it, add a new category the same way, a factor table for the units, or a formula if it's nonlinear like temperature. This one took a while to get right. A like tells me it was worth it. If something feels off or missing, or you want to see something new, tell me in the comments. Talk is cheap. Here's the actual page, rendered for real in a real browser, nothing staged.